Hello and welcome to this week's GG Weekend Watch, kindly sponsored by SBK. And we're back focusing on the jumps again this weekend. We're going to be looking north to Ayr. We have 5 races from the Scottish Grand National meeting, so we really should be donning our blue face paint and our tartan. I've tried to go with a blue theme, at least trying to tap into the Scottish theme then this weekend, but plenty to look forward to up from Ayr. And we also have 3 races from Newbury as well, of course. But before we start our racing chat, we must congratulate a member of the team, Andrew, on his latest arrival. We said last week that he was on annual leave. Really, he was sat in hospital waiting for the birth of his second daughter. So huge congratulations, Andrew, from all of us here, of course. And I'm sure you're delighted to be here for at least an hour then in the shed, getting away from changing nappies for a while. But I'm sure the family are delighted to be looking forward to Ayr. So we will get cracking then and give them what I'm sure they really want. So we'll start then with the 1:15 at Ayr. This is a listed handicap chase for 5-year-olds and over 2 miles and half a furlong. So, Andrew, would you like to kick us off whilst we still have you on full energy levels?
Yeah, thanks for that introduction. I've sighed again against all odds. Another girl, although calling her Venetia Lucy after Venetia Williams and Lucy Turner are combined to win with Chambord in the Kinmure has been overruled. So, yeah, I'm off for the cruelest of all cuts in the near future anyway. So. We'd always said we'd stop at 2, and I think with my age, that's very sensible as well. So.
Two graded performers and out. That's all right. Any stallion would dream of that.
So yeah, as for this race, I'm sure Daryl will be interested in Sebastopol because he tipped this one up at a good price when he won last time out. I had Sebastopol down as a Grand Annual Red Rum Handicap chase horse at the start of the season, thinking he needs better ground. He travels strongly. You do well in the big field at a strong pace. I mean, he won at a small field at Kempton last time, but he did have a decent gallop to chase. And I think the same will apply here. More runners, stronger pace, decent ground. I think it's good to soft, good in places. They're watering with showers forecast, which is a slight concern, but hopefully it's going to be no worse than good to soft. And I thought, given that forecast, then Sebastopol could be the way to go here. Hopefully he'll run here and in the Red Rum at Aintree.
Yeah, oh really? Yeah, so then going for hopefully an Ayr Aintree double then with Sebastopol to double up or maybe even treble up on that win from last time out. Daryl, are you also siding with Sebastopol then?
Yeah, no, not this time around. I just thought the mark was a bit stiff now, 144 coming into this sort of race. He's gone up, what, £8 for that win at Kempton. It's nothing against him really, honestly, other than just the mark, and sometimes he can throw in the odd howler of a jump. So I did want to take him on. I do really like one in here, Malystic for Peter Niven. This horse has been on the radar for quite some time. He's definitely talented. He unseated his rider at Doncaster on seasonal return. He was off for 321 days, had a wind surgery, but he was travelling really nicely and really well in himself. But the key to this horse has always been to catch him second time out. Let him have the run, let him blow the cobwebs away, then catch him second time out. He went off at 10-1 that day. He certainly won't be going on that sort of price today. I can guarantee that. Last year at this meeting, he chased home All Mankind in the Future Champions chase over 2.5 miles. 2.5 miles just not big. He doesn't really get it. 2 miles is definitely his trip, but he wasn't disgraced there. He was right at 147 at that time. Obviously had some time off, but his form is absolutely rock solid. He's won second time out every single season he's been racing. He's finished inside the top 2 on 4 of his 5 chase starts, inside the top 2 on 10 of his 14 career starts. He's a rock solid horse in terms of he's going to be there or thereabouts. Brian Hughes jumps back on board today. And he's just a talented horse with a lot more to come. He's only turned 8. This mark of 145 is definitely within reach. And the ground will be no issue whichever way it goes for him. So I thought he was quite a rock solid bet in the opener at Ayr. I did just want to have a small cover bet in this race though, and that's on Hatcher for Dan Skelton. They mentioned in an interview a while back that the Ayr meeting was going to be his target. He unseated at Sandown last time, but he's only had 4 starts left-handed in the last 2 years, and his form figures read 6-3-1-1. The first 2 of those, the 6 and the 3, both came at Cheltenham. Off marks of 150 and 149. This obviously is not up to that sort of level of a Cheltenham race. He's off 145 today, but the mark doesn't really bother me too much. I mean, he's joint top weight with Malystic, which will tell you enough about the race as it is. But it's the time of year to sort of catch him. The first time after the turn of the year is normally time to get him. He normally reappears in about March, between March and July. I think 9 of his 14 wins have come between March and July. So he does like quicker ground, so any drying ground will be of benefit to him. But he's a big price, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if he hit the frame. So I've just had a very small cover bet on Hatcher, but the main play in here will be Malystic.
Yeah, Hatcher, a really nice price there. And I love the trends and stats then behind Hatcher and Malystic as well. Then for the pair of those, you've definitely been doing your research.
Okay, just one thing here. If you are betting on this race before the 4:40 on Friday, just beware, because Dubai Days is around about 5-1 for this race.
Yeah.
He's 7-4 for the 4:40 on Friday. So obviously, if he wins that, he's going to shorten up for this one. He might try and do the double. The Inval, of course, did the double when winning this in 2018. You get quite a few horses who do go for 2 runs within 24 or 48 hours at the Air Festival. And of course, if he doesn't run, he disappoints on Friday, then you're going to be hit with a Rule 4 as well. So just be wary of that if you're having an early punt.
Yeah, definitely. So that's Dubai Days to watch out for. And just of interest, the horses that have tried to do the double, how have they fared generally?
I'll dig out some stats during Daryl's patter in the next race.
I'll tell you what, you could just set your watch by the Inval at this meeting over the years, really, couldn't you? He would get hampered on the Friday, not get a clear run, and then you'd back him again on the Saturday and he'd go and win.
Then he'd go and win. Yeah. So potentially Dubai Days then attempting a similar feat, but hopefully with winning. Well, no, actually not hopefully with winning consequences then, because none of us have sided with him. So we will move on then to the 150 at Air. This is the Novices Champion Handicap chase for 5 rods and over 3 miles. Pretty open contest. Dusart currently heads the betting at the time of recording. So Daryl, who wins this for you, please?
Yeah, I think if you can get 3-1 on Dusart, I think that's a fair enough price about him, to be honest with you. I'm not a massive fan of the horse. He's a very strange horse. If he goes right-handed, he jumps out to the left. But when he's going around his bends on a left-handed turn, as he did at Cheltenham, he wants to be on his right lead all the time, and he just looks awkward. He didn't handle the downhill, run at Cheltenham in the RSA. I don't know. He's a horse that, if this was more competitive, I mean, a lot of these have earned their ratings in lowly graded northern races, to put it politely. And I'm not, do you know what I mean though? Like, 145 rated horse running at Cheltenham is not the same as 145 rated horse running at Kelso.
Yeah,
like, and you've got to weigh it up against.
That is just facts before anyone starts weighing in. Then
Daryl hates Northerners. If you connect with the North, send Daryl some hate mail, please.
No, I mean, you know what I mean. So you've got to weigh it up against the opposition. So like, you look at this race immediately and you go, well, okay, so what's Dusart achieve? How is Dusart going to win off a mark of 147? Well, he'll probably win because he's against much inferior horses, in all honesty. I know he's got to give him a bit of weight, but he'll be fine carrying the weight. I don't really see too many problems with it. Like I say, he's not a horse I'm a massive fan of at the highest level. I don't think he's going to make that grade 1 level, but this is nowhere near that. I know this is 17 days after what was probably quite a tough race at Cheltenham in deep ground, but he's just better than these horses. And I think 3-1's a fair price. If he was a 7-4, 13-8 shot, something like that, then I'd be looking at ways to take him on. But I just don't think anything else is that well handicapped to go and beat him.
Yeah, very fair point then. Yes, to do so, you can get 3-1 around, and then Daryl thinks that is a very fair price just to prove better than the rest of these horses. Andrew, do you agree or different opinion?
Yeah, I mean, you'll know from the Cheltenham preview that I'm a big fan of Dusart. So I'll bet him for this at 4s. I'll bet him at 3s. I'll keep going until he's 7-4, I think. I mean, this is a big drop in grade. He was very impressive in the fact that he won despite racing right-handed in his first 2 chase starts at Leicester and Exeter. Jumped massively out to his left on each occasion. Still managed to win. Went to Cheltenham, big step up in grade. First run left-handed, and he's finished a good 5th. In Longpressé's race, and I mean, you look at his hurdling season. He had 1 run, beaten Soaring Glory at Newbury. We didn't see him again until he ran in a grade 1 at Aintree when he was 3rd to Belfast Banter. He's very lightly raced. He's very progressive. There's a lot more to come going left-handed over fences, and he's only a 7-year-old. I think he'll win this. I think what we're looking at now of 3-1 still in a place, generally 11-4. I think he'll be 7-4 on the day.
Oh, nicely. When you keep backing him, he will be for sure. So yeah, Dusart again for Andrew as well then. So both of the lads teaming up, which we do like them with Dusart in the 150. Andrew, did you manage to dig out any of those facts at all?
Yeah, I've gone back 10 years. Horses who ran at this air meeting, having raced here previously 1 or 2 days ago. 3 winners from 10 runners, plus £9 to a £1 level stake, and another 4 of the 7 beaten horses ran second. Now, the last 2 winners were the aforementioned the Inval at 6-1 and 3-1, Le Bacardi at 7-1 in 2014. And I say, 4 second places as well, and up to 8-1. So do look out for horses who have 2 goes at the meeting. Something, of course, we used to see at the Cheltenham Festival at one time, but not permissible anymore.
Yes, yeah, unfortunately not. But that is obviously in relation then to Dubai days in the first race we were talking about in the 115. So do then watch out for that. So thanks for that, Andrew, by the way. We will move on though to the 225. This is one of our features now. It's the Grade 2 Scottish Champion Hurdle, which is a limited handicap for 4-year-olds and over 2 miles. Again, hugely competitive as you would have thought, but it's a Great Wood Hurdle winner, West Cork, who is the current market leader. So lads, if you don't mind this time, I'm going to kick us off with this race because I'm going to take on the favourite with One More for the Road here because I like everything about this lad's profile for this race. I think he's very well treated here, still off of a mark of 136. He's a 7-year-old, first positive then for him. He has a rating in the mid to 130s. Again, I like that. I hope he's going to be held up in the manner that he was in his last 2 runs, but it's difficult to say because 2 of his wins in his hat trick did come when making all. So I fear they may revert back to those tactics here, but he has an ideal conditioning for the race with 5 starts so far this season. Yeah, I thought he ran really well to finish 4th in the Imperial Cup last time out behind, obviously, the Peter Fahey trained surprise package. He just bolted up. But One More for the Road, I thought he ran with huge credit, and he's been given £1 back for that run. Very fair. I'm happy to chance him, and a quick enough turnaround for this race. Doesn't look to be as much as a negative as you would have thought. So that's my opinion anyway. Andrew, please don't take me on. What is your thoughts on the race?
Yeah, well, I was a big fan of that Huntingdon win when he did it from the front in a very quick time and loads of horses in behind him came out and won next time out. And like you say, he's tactically versatile. You'd imagine they're going to hold on to him as they have done the last twice because there's a whole stack of early pace in this race and they'd be daft to get involved. I mean, the one I've had on my radar for this race since early in the season is last year's runner-up, Bunina, who I've always said is a spring horse. And
yes,
yeah, I remember I think she was well punted for a race at Doncaster in January. Even though the ground was quicker than it normally is at Donny in January, she still finished well beaten, beaten 29 lengths, I think it was. I wrote her up in the Racing Post Weekender as one to, bear in mind for a spring campaign, particularly this race. I mean, she had Tommy's Oscar in behind when finishing second in this race last year. She's £5 lower this time around. I mean, she's never won above class 4 level, but she's run some really good races in defeat in graded company, and I just thought each way ran about 10-1. And Bunina had to be one that would get a few quid of my money. Milkwood, of course, last year's winner, is another one to be interested in. 2 runs since then. The first one was a 2nd of 20 in the Galway Hurdle, and then a modest effort on his chase debut. He's been off since. He's gone well fresh before. All his wins have come in the April to October period. He can go well when fresh. I wasn't keen on West Cork because we know Dan Skelton targeted him at the County Hurdle. Every horse Dan Skelton's run in the County Hurdle has been beaten next time out. 0 from 10. I know that's not a massive sample, but quite a few of those were short prices, having run well at Cheltenham. So, West Cork I can leave alone, despite the fact that he was 4-1 about an hour ago, and now he's 11-4. So I'm last year's 1-2 again, but maybe Bunina can get a bit closer to Milkwood this time.
Oh, I like it. So going down last year's race with the form lines in between the pair of them. Yeah, if Bunina comes good this time around after I sided with her last time, she just missed out on, well, didn't just, but she missed out on a place for 1 then. I'll be fuming. So that's Andrew's take then on the Scottish Champion Hurdle. Daryl, your opinion, please.
Yeah, I agree with Andrew in terms of West Cork. I think this is a bit of an afterthought, really, for him. So I'd be against him at the top of the market and hope he gets backed in Milkwood, this has undoubtedly been the target for Neil Mulholland with Milkwood after that disappointing chase debut. He did actually travel really well through that race, but he just didn't finish it off for whatever reason. That Galway hurdle run off a mark of 1:47 was unbelievable. That was a cracking run, and he was staying on really strongly at the finish point. Saudier, I know he's been disappointing since, but that was an on-song Saudier. Cheek pieces on first time. He was primed for that day. And he's rated at, 162, 164, something like that. So Milkwood's definitely got a chance here off a mark of 150. He goes well where he won this race last year. I know he's £13 worse off of Anna Bunina, but there's still more to come from him. The way he's won his races suggests that he could ply his trade in a higher grade. But this is a good bit of placing by Neil Mulholland off this mark of 150. I think he'll take a good bit of whacking in this, I think. But just one at a price I'll give a good mention to is Alqamar for James Moffat. Charlotte Jones takes £5 off this horse. He's rated 90 on the flat. He's running effective of a mark of 127 here. He was due to run in the Moor Battle Hurdle at Kelso, but was pulled out because of the ground. So they've obviously been waiting for some good ground for him. He has just looked an improved model with every single run. He's been running at Cartmel, but I'm not entirely sure that track really suits him. I think he wants a bit more of a galloping track. He won here by 16 lengths. It was a Mickey Mouse race, really. He beat nothing, 80-odd rated horses. But he did it with such style and such substance that he looked like he had just taken like a duck to water to hurdles. He's unexposed. He goes well fresh. He's won here. And he's fairly handicapped on the mark on that flat mark of 91. He could definitely play a hand in the finish if they go hard enough here. So I'm going to back him each way, and I think I'll back Milkwood as well, win only.
Yeah, so Alqamar there, really saying claimers having a good record in this race as well. Verdana Blue and Chesterfield having £7 claimers on their back. Charlotte Jones taking the 5, but also another vote then for Milkwood as well, off of an £8 higher mark then from last year. But both of the lads then keen on him, so I feel very ganged up on in that race. We will move on to the 3 o'clock then. This is the Future Champion Novices Chase, which is a grade 2 for 5 rods and over 2 mile, 4.5 furlongs, only 5 runners. Some likeable types in here anyway. Daryl, your take on this race, please.
Yeah, this is disappointing. Really, this is disappointing.
Yeah.
All of these novices this season, they've not surpassed a mark of 145, really. They've just not been able to go to that next level. I think do your job at the top of the market. I think he's bang average, in all honesty. I don't know. I wouldn't back him at 5-2 for anyone's money. He can go and win at that price if you want. I would back Kiltealy Briggs, the outside of the entire field. I think at Cheltenham, I think they just wanted a runner and stuck him in the Ultima because he definitely doesn't stay 3 miles. He's a gutsy battler over 2.5, but I don't think he really gets 3 miles, that's for sure. He's going to try and make all the running in here, and I think he might be very, very hard to pass. He's not too far off on rating. He's got a half penalty to saddle, but I just think this is a race where a lot of these have got jumping issues. Il Redito, God, don't know what's going on with that horse. He's only a 5-year-old. Harry Cobden goes to Newbury. Jacquemar's got a bit to do on the ratings, but he would probably be second choice. Manila Drama, you kind of don't really know what you're going to get with him when he goes on a left-handed track. He's best right-handed. When he won at Haydock, Brian Hughes had to take him right round the outside and stop him jumping out right and sticking with the rail. And he got away with it because it was heavy ground that day and it was the place to be. This is a bit of a mess race. I'm not going to have a bet in this, but if you want to bet, I couldn't put you off Kiltealy Briggs at around 6-1 just to make all.
Yeah, to make all then, like say 6-1 for Kiltealy Briggs. Really trappy race, and I think you've assessed that really nicely, actually. Andrew, do you agree this is just as trappy?
Yeah, I agree to take on the top of the market, Manila Drama, and do your job. I don't think anything special. You look at the roll of honour for winners of this race, it tends to go to a bigger southern yard rather than a northern trainer. Paul Nicholls has got a good race. I've bet Il Redotto at 11-2. Since that impressive Newbury win, he's bumped into Edwardstone in Grade 1 company and then run twice on heavy ground. So he was only a 4-year-old when winning that Newbury race. And you look at Paul Nicholls' other 4-year-old winner of that race, Ulik Devan, won several times after that. And they said he was suited by them going a strong pace that day because they were completely flat out for the first mile. It became all about stamina. And they said he'd be going over it. He'd need a longer trip in time. So yeah, 2.5 miles on goodish ground. I think will suit Il Rodotto, and say given Paul Nicholls' record in the race is probably overpriced. Doesn't mean he'll win, just means he might be a bit of value in the race. And the other one I wasn't against was 6-1 shot Jacquemart, who I know he won at Leicester last time, but that race fell apart. I've always thought he needs a flat track. You look at all his, he always struggles when he's gone to the likes of Cheltenham. You look at his form at the Kemptons, the Wincantons, the Newton Abbotts of the world. He's always gone pretty well. So I thought it was an interesting race in terms of you get the front two beat. I mean, maybe the bet will be to do the three outsiders in combination forecast. I'm sort of in the camp of two of them, Jacquemart and Il Rodotto. Daryl likes Kiltealy Briggs, so that could be the angle. But I'll go Il Rodotto for the sake of having won in the race.
Oh, I like it. So both the lads going for the outsiders. So yeah, so Andrew, he may have had a baby, but he's definitely not lost any of his oomph then this weekend. Maybe joining up the three outsiders then of this race to take on the favourites. So like that angle a lot. We shall move on to the 3:35. The big one is up for now. The Scottish Grand National, which is a Grade 3 handicap chase, of course, for 5-year-olds and over 3 miles, 7 furlongs, 176 yards. And Christian Williams is occupying a lot of the head of the market, really, with a couple of his stars from a few weekends ago when he had that wonderful Saturday double. But Andrew, dissect this year's renewal for us, please.
Yeah, I was super tricky. I mean, the one thing about Christian Williams, you can back his long travellers and make a profit. Anything he sends more than 250 miles. So, look at the likes of sort of Fakenham, Sedgefield, Newcastle, Ayr, of course. So it certainly wouldn't put you off the two at the head of the betting. I've napped in Racing and Football Outlook this week in the Ian Williams horse Onemorefortheroad, who I did mention on the preview circuit before Cheltenham as a horse who was best in the spring, won 4 times on decent ground last year, and of course including a win in 3 mile novice handicap at this meeting, a very impressive win as well. It was by 6.5 lengths, running off a lower mark this time around or a similar marker. I seem to have lost my notes at the moment, so forgive me if I'm wrong about that. He was 125 to 1 in the Alqamar when finishing down the field in that race, and ground and track wouldn't have been ideal. So I think coming back to Ayr for the first time since winning the meeting last year, a horse who's thrived in the spring previously. The 50s went on Monday, and then he was 28th best, I think, last time I looked. Maybe there's a bit of 33s with one bookmaker. But yeah, Onemorefortheroad I thought could run a good race. And the other one I liked was ASHTOWN Lad for Dan Skelton, who looks like he's going to appreciate going a marathon trip. Dan Skelton said that about him when he won it. I think it was Wetherby earlier this season. And you look at his full brother, was it Doobie Brief, who placed in a Welsh national at 33 to 1 behind Native River the first time she went beyond 3.5 miles. So I just thought that ASHTOWN Lad will improve for this step up in trip as well, and sort of 25s, 28s, and 12 to 1 against the field. So that pair will do for me.
Yeah, so a pair of 8-year-olds as well, which is notable as a positive then in this race for ASHTOWN Lad and Onemorefortheroad then for Andrew. And well done to do all of that without your notes spot on. Daryl, your assessment, please.
Yeah, I like loads. you know when you look at any national,
everyone.
Yeah, do you know when you look at any national, like even a Grand National, like you tell people, oh yeah, back this horse or back these two, but really you fancy about 6 or 7 or 8, don't you?
Yeah,
it's difficult. I started the week off really fancying Kitty's Light because I just think the last 3 runs at Kempton, the track has just not suited him at all. So I thought it was even more encouraging the way he ran last time behind Captain Nordic stablemate. He should have won last year in the Bet365 Gold Cup at Sandown, but he was hampered, staying on really strongly. This horse has been crying out to go back beyond 3 miles. I think he's got a massive chance at the top of the market. I really do. But again, it's a national though, and you start going towards the top of the market, you start kicking yourself a little bit. I thought the Wolf for Ollie Murphy had a fair shout off a mark of 139. He looks all about stamina, so I thought he could go well. The one I came down on, or the two I came down on, Hill 16 is the first selection. Yes. Mark McDonough's been booked to take £5 off this horse. He went up £9 for that run at Kelso last time in listed company behind Nuts Well. that was a remarkably good performance from a horse, given how lowly rated he was in that field. It's probably come on just at the wrong time, given he's gone up the weights, but they do claim 5 off him, puts him on a mark of 142. This horse is a pain in the arse.
Tell me about it. I know exactly what you mean. Yes.
It is. Doesn't he just runs on, doesn't it? I swear to God, Kate, if he gets to the end of this 4-mile trip and he's quoted as running on strongly, I'm going to flip my lid, right? Because I've been watching this horse run on strongly all bloody season.
Yeah.
I thought he had been. I know he had a blip in the Welsh National, but the ground was terrible that day. It was all a bit of a mess, so I would just forgive that. He has been crying out to go beyond 3 miles. My goodness me, this horse is all about stamina. And I thought around 25 to 1, I thought I've got to have a couple of quid there. And the other one was Via Dolorosa for David Pipe at 33s. I was about to write this horse up for the Topham Chase next week at Aintree, because he was a huge eye catcher in the Beecher Chase behind Snow Leopardess when travelling very, very smoothly and just cruising through the race before he was sort of forced to unseat. But this horse is all about stamina. The reason I wanted him for the Topham Chase because I just wanted him back over the national fences. Really, he's too lowly rated to get in the Grand National, but they've chosen to go this route instead. He comes here off the back of 2 career best wins, bolting up last time at Fakenham by 20 lengths over 3 miles. They're convinced that he's a nationally type horse, and he's very unexposed on good ground. He's very unexposed in Britain. He's off a workable mark of 137 on the balance of his form, and if he can just, I know he's a 10-year-old, but if he can just improve again for that good ground, I think he should be there or thereabouts at around 33 to 1. So they're the 2 I'll go with. I won't back Kitty's Light because backing at the top of national markets is for.
You're allowed to. You're allowed to. He's still a fair price, to be fair, little Kitty's Light.
No, I don't want to be outdone by him again.
I know.
What'll happen is I'll get nabbed in the second on Kitty's Light, and he'll get 2 placed 4th or 5th and make twice the money I would.
Darren's got it all.
I'm learning from Uncle Andy.
Yeah, exactly. Learning all of these lessons the hard way. Then, yeah. So abandoning Kitty's Light there for, but siding with Hill 16 and also Via Dolorosa as well. And
I feel like Obi-Wan Kenobi and Daryl's Darth Vader, but we all know what happened there.
Oh no, we won't go into that then.
You can't father any more kids.
Exactly, you've got enough on your plate, Andrew. Yeah, we'll keep it just to the 2 that we know of for now on. For now anyway. But no, Daryl, I was actually so pleased though that you said Hill 16, because I am siding with him again here. He is a horse where I have sided with him on multiple occasions this season, and including that pulling up in the Welsh National, where, as you say, just everything went wrong for him then throughout that, and he's just been working his way back form. Like I say, that rise then for last time out, it stings, it really does. But I still think he's pretty well treated here, all things considered anyway. Like I say, he's probably just peaked potentially at the wrong time, but hopefully with Mark McDonough taking his claim off his back as well. And I know that top weights don't have a fantastic record in the Scottish National, but you look about what the top weights were rated then in previous renewals, you know, they were mid 150s horses. So for all that you can say, well, off of top weight, it's going to give him such a difficult task there. Well, A, he's got the claim off his back. B, he's only running off of 147, which I think just speaks volumes of the nature of this year's renewal. I know we've got the reduced prize money. It's a strange time of year to have the Scottish National prior to the Grand National. So I think it's all factored into it. So I'm looking more towards the head of the weights, but also I'm going to give a chance. You may think I'm insane here. Well, you'd already do, but more insane here is with Prime Venture, the 11-year-old in here. And we talk about older boys in this race. I mean, Taking Risks won this in 2019 as a 10-year-old. So I'm not overly dismissive of it. And he won it on the back of winning a Veterans Chase last time out. Prime Venture finished 3rd in a Veterans Chase last time out. I don't think he ran too badly. Hopefully it's going to have teed him up nicely for this. Stamina will be fine for him. And I just think at a huge price there, one of the big outsiders of the field, Prime Venture, I'm just going to have a small little each way play on him with this looking like the target off of an optimal mark as well. So I'm allowed 2 in it. And I've gone for 2 again then. So that's us covered for our races at Ayr. So Daryl, I'll come back to you please for anything else from Ayr that takes your fancy.
Yes, in the 410, Bass Rock has got everything in his favour to win this race. I don't think he quite stayed the trip the last twice. But I'm going to give a chance to Enemy Coast Ahead, who was beaten by him 15 lengths in this race last season. But he's got a £20 swing with him. And that run last season came off the back of a 250-odd day layoff in a wind operation. He has clearly, obviously, had his problems because he ran in that race and we didn't see him again for another 227 days. He ran at Haydock in deep ground behind Celebra Dallin, and he showed up really well and then just faded, looking like he needed the run. And then I thought it was a bit of a career best at Newbury behind Dashel Drasher, just beating 6 lengths in December. The problem is he's had another little bit of a break, so there might be another issue. He's been off another 94 days, but he has definitely got the ability to win off a mark of 94, off a mark of 124. I hope that they're going to make use of him because they keep holding him up and it's not working. So they need to go back to making the running with him. There's no pace in this race whatsoever, so I'm really hoping that they try and make most of him up front. And he could just prove hard to catch with that £20 swing benefiting him. But I think it's between them two. I wouldn't put anyone off having a reverse forecast between them two.
Oh, I like that a lot then in the 410. Yeah, Enemy Coast Ahead. He really has had his issues. It's his knees from when he was back at Tom George's that really sort of let him down. Yeah. And so, but it's kind of annoying that then he's sort of best on good ground, even though it has this over action. Yeah. And but he's definitely, like say, if he can just.
He's got no chance in Kate.
Yeah, basically. No, he's definitely, well, from what we used to think of him, an awful lot better. He should be an awful lot better than 124, provided everything's then okay with him. Andrew, anything else from Air?
Not for me, thanks, Kate.
No worries. We shall move on then to Newbury, where this is our second meeting then, therefore, and we're going to begin with the 135. This is a novices handicap hurdle for 4-year-olds and over 2 mile, 2.5 furlongs, open race. Andrew, back to you, please, for this one.
Yeah, this is horrendous. This is a get out of jail free card kind of race, really. We've got 5 horses trading between 9-2 and 6-1 at the time of recording. Yep. Royaume Uni heads the market for Gary Moore, although that one's form tends to be on sharp tracks. It's all sort of Fontwell, Plumpton, Lingfield form, so I wasn't 100% convinced Newbury would be ideal. There was 1 or 2 that I was more interested in. Mr. Marbles possibly for the Hobbs Yard. And Mot A Mot, ex-Henderson, one of these Di Waters horses, has gone to Sam Thomas. Wears a tongue tie for the first time, had a wind up since we last saw him in action. And I looked at Sam Thomas's record with switches, the horses he takes over from other yards for the Waters, for this owner. Not the greatest strike rate, but those that do win tend to be well supported. And although he was 14-1 early, he's very quickly into 10-1. And if the money continues, I'll just side with Mot A Mot. But not a betting race for me. It's incredibly tricky.
Yeah, it really is. So 10-1. Watch for any market support about Mot A Mot there on debut for Sam Thomas. Daryl, trappy race. Solve it, please.
I thought Royaume Uni would probably win.
Yeah, I was so hoping neither of you two were going to tip him up because I wouldn't have to say his name then because I cannot say this horse's name.
Yeah, I thought he would win. I thought Punctuation, who was pulled out today on good ground, he doesn't want drying ground. He wants a bit of cut in the ground. So I didn't think anything else in the race was too well handicapped. I did see that Surrey Quest was at the top of this market off an opening mark of 130. I thought, my goodness me, that's a steep mark for him. But yeah, I thought he won with plenty in hand last time at Fontwell. Travelled through the race really strongly. That came off the back of a really eye-catching run at Newbury in the Betfair hurdle, beating 7 lengths. I thought the step up and trip did him a world of good at Fontwell. I thought returning to Newbury would be no issue, and the extra distance on that Betfair hurdle run would clearly suit him. He's only gone up £6. I thought that was very fair. I'm going to keep it straightforward and back Royaume Uni.
There you go. Horse number 2 for Daryl then in that Newbury contest one of these days. But as soon as we get to the end of the season, I might learn how to pronounce his name properly, but it's an absolute tongue twister for me. So we'll move on to the 210 then at Newbury. This is the conditional jockeys veterans handicap chase for 10-year-olds and over 2 miles 7. Daryl, your take, please.
God, this is a get out of jail free card, Andrew. He likes these races, though, so I'll leave him to do most of the talking. I thought Indy 5 was interesting, returned to Newbury, just won really, really nicely last time. I thought Glenn Forcer has been a little bit underestimated in the market on the back of his Musselburgh win. That was a good win. That was a return right back to form for him. He went up to a mark of 134. He's back down to a mark of 133. That's only £1, but they dropped him back in trip at Newbury last time earlier this month, and he ran over ran in that grade 3. He was never going to win that in a million years. That Greatwood Cup against all those unexposed horses. Never. And he's back in veteran company today. So he's probably going to outrun his odds. I won't be having a bet. I don't really like the race, but
wonderful. Yeah, to be honest, I'm just hoping that Indy 5 then gives a sort of a roundabout form boost then for Prime Venture prior to the Scottish Grand National then. But Andrew, you love a veterans race. Take it away.
Yeah, I do. The only back 10-year-olds angle doesn't tend to do as well at this time of year as it does in an early season. And again, you're looking at, there's 3 10-year-olds, and you've got sort of Glenn Forcer, who I just thought might be best right-handed, and you've got the New Mulholland horse La Casa Nostra, who won at Hereford last time out, but was he flattered by being on the front end on a track that favours such tactics? The always prominent runner-up disappointed next time, and they've stuck cheek pieces on him, which always seems a bit strange. If it ain't broke, you've got a last time out winner, why bother putting the headgear on? So I was looking at an 11-year-old, which is Bermeo, for having his first run for Harry Fry. Now, this horse was with Tim Vaughan. Tim Vaughan is sort of well documented, had a torrid time the last couple of years. And horses that go from his yard to others in the last few years and run in a handicap company done really well. Go back to the start of 2019. 9 from 35 and a profit of £30.50. One of those rocked up for Harry Fry. Was backed into 85-40 favouritism at Exeter. Was in second place, was sadly tipping up and was fatally injured. So I think there's going to be money around for Bermeo. I could see him starting favourite here. I think he's 13-2, where they bet 9-2 the field. He likes to come late off a strong pace. They're going to go like the clappers here. There's loads and loads of front runners in here. Although I normally like front runners at Newbury, I'm not so sure this time around. So I'm quite confident that Bermeo, with a clear round, will be in the first 3 or 4 here.
Oh, I like that. Confident then in this race there, and siding with an 11-year-old as well. But like say this time of year, factoring that in. So Bermeo then for Andrew in the 2:10. Now our final scheduled race then is the 2:45 at Newbury. We have a novices mares hurdle, which is a grade 2 limited handicap and a series final as well. 4 4-year-olds and over 2 mile 4.5 furlongs. So lots to take in there. So hopefully, Andrew, you can simplify the race for us and find us the winner.
Yeah, I mean, I've pitied the commentator, because by the time he's reeled out and they're off in the FBet Victory Racing to Help Ukraine.UK National Mares Novices Hurdle Limited Handicap Brackets Grade 2, they'll have
series final. Yeah,
they'll have crossed the line and washed down and be halfway home. But interesting race. It's a race that often goes to a 5 or 6-year-old. 9 of the last 10 winners have fitted into that age category. But another thing to look out for in this race is freshness. It helps to have had at least, more than 4 weeks off the track. The 5 and 6-year-olds who'd had a recent outing within 4 weeks were just 1 from 49 in the last 10 renewals. So look for horses who are relatively fresh. Claiming jockeys as well have won more than their fair share of these races. And I was quite interested in the Skelton runner, Gentle Connections, who was second to Marsh Wren, who reopposes here the last time we saw her. But I thought was just given a little bit too much to do in a small field, steadily run contest that day. And often you'll get a horse coming from off the pace to win this. You tend to get a whole lot of horses who've been winning from the front in small fields, meeting, going off too quick, setting it up for a closer. Usually one is relatively fresh. So in a race that's pretty tricky, for a yard that's done well in it in the past, Roxana won a few years ago. They had the runner-up last year, I think. So, Gentle Connections. And the other Skelton runners would also be of interest. But Gentle Connections at 20-1 is the way I'm going.
Yeah, nice price there for Tristan Darrell, taking his £7 claim off of her back as well. Darrell, your assessment, please.
Yeah, I like this race. Well, I like this race because one's a bloody stupid price, really. Nina the Terrier for Alan King. Now things haven't gone her way, right, in her last few starts. She won here, beating a horse with no name, who was subsequently second in the Mares Novice Hurdle at Cheltenham, and then she was beaten by LA Bell when she fell, but she was yet to play her hand when she fell that day. Now there was a lot of talk by Alan King saying that this horse is they really like this horse. This horse will be better when she goes up in distance a slight bit. They went to Haydock next time, went up in trip, soft ground. I don't think she wants soft ground, but they went to Haydock anyway. My goodness me, Gavin Sheehan gave a horse the worst ride I've seen for a long time. He's done a few of those recently.
The worst ride since the last Gavin Sheehan Haydock ride.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hardy de Soy.
Yeah, Hardy de Soy. Yeah. But he gave it a terrible ride, and she steamed home. She absolutely steamed home, and to be finishing as fast as she did in soft ground at Haydock like that, I thought she was marked down as a fairly decent horse. She went to Sandown, beaten by Love Envoy, beaten 12 lengths, and Speech Bubble split the pair. But she was held up at the rear of the field in heavy ground at Sandown. No horse, I don't think, all season has made up any ground from the rear of the field at Sandown when it's been deep this year. And so I thought she did well to finish third there. And she's £6 better off with Speech Bubble here. She couldn't get into the race at Cheltenham 16 days ago, but returning to Newbury where she's won into a handicap, like I say, £6 better off with Speech Bubble, off a mark of 127, back on good ground. Andrew, like Andrew said, there's going to be loads of pace on in this race. It's going to collapse for her, and she's going to be finishing very, very strongly. How the hell she's an 11-1 shot, I don't know, because half of these are no good, in all honesty. She is going to be hitting the frame around the level. She's the nap of the day, actually.
Ooh, I like that then. Yes,
Yeah.
Nina Terrier, like you say, getting a big price then about her as well, in the hope that she can just get back on track, but you can find evident reasons why she didn't. And another claimer then on her back with Brian Carver as well. So like that a lot then from Daryl. So Daryl, I'll go back to you for anything else from Newbury.
No, that's it from me. Thank you.
Nope. Andrew?
In the 320, Fanzio might be able to run a good race despite only finishing fifth last time out. He's got a real OXO pattern to his form, good run, bad run, good run, etc. And he had a bad one last time, beating 44 lengths. I mean, that's a positive when you're looking at backing Fanzio. You want him to have finished out the back of the telly on his latest start. And you look at his, the last time he won, he was beaten 92 lengths the time before. Before that, he won, he was beaten 33 lengths before that. And his other recent wins since wind surgery, he was third of four, beaten 16.5 lengths the time before. So, yeah, always backable after a bad run. He had one last time, Fanzio, about 8-1.
Yeah, he is a horse that has frustrated me this season on many an occasion. So if he comes good, then at least you're getting a fair price then about him anyway. Anything from anywhere else, Andrew?
Just one at Chepstow in the 437, Glory and Honour for Tom Lacey. Hardly set the world alight in recent starts, but he's got the cheap pieces on for the first time. Let's say going into the Cheltenham Festival, Tom Lacey was 7 from his last 14 in first-time cheap pieces. And of course, he had T-Clipper place in the Alqamar in the first-time headgear. So dropping in class to Class 4 company for the first time in a long time. Glory and Honour in the headgear might be able to run a good race.
Yeah, horse number 1 then in the 437 for Andrew at Chepstow. Daryl, anything from anywhere else?
Same horse.
Oh, same horse, really? Oh, very interesting then in the 437 at Chepstow for Glory and Honour.
It's the drop in grade. He's by far the better horse in it. There's a slight concern that he does want to go right-handed, but he should be far better than what he's running against in that race, that's for sure.
Wonderful. So the lads are
there's, I think only one firmer bet on that. They go 7-2. It's a sort of tight ahead of the market.
Really?
3-1 Great Ocean, 130 Halifax, 7-2 Glory and Honour.
130 Halifax, yeah.
Is that bigger than you're expecting, Daryl, or about?
Yeah.
I thought it'd be 2-1.
Yeah. It's tight between the first three. Then
might be in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. No more. Will it be? Sorry, you're going to have missed that price if you're watching here and now. So lads, both in agreement there, which they have done a few times on today's show, which is interesting. So Daryl, I think we know your nap then. Nina Terrier, is it?
Yes, Nina Terrier. It's a price thing. She's just too big of a price. She's an each way nap this week, but she will be there or thereabouts.
Yeah, in the 245 then at Newbury. And Andrew, your nap, please.
Yeah. I'm going to go for Glory and go for one more Fleurie in the Scottish National. Round about 25s, 33s.
I was going to go for Glory in that race as well. You stole my thunder. I was going to go for Hill 16 then because Daryl agreed with me. I
thought he was playing everyone else. Then I'm going to go for Glory and
Glory.
I realised when I said it. Well, maybe that's the double Fleurie and Glory.
Yeah. Fleurie and Glory then, yeah, for Andrew for a nap double is what we've kind of put on his shoulders now. And I'm going to go Hill 16, horse number 1 then in the 335 at Ayr as well at a big price, because why not? Why not? We're getting towards the end of the season. I don't care anymore. So we're just shoving all Napsen at big prices towards it. So yeah, really good show. Then back talking jumps. Thanks to the lads for all of their hard work as per usual. Thank you to SBK for their usual sponsorship. And thank you for watching. Have a wonderful weekend and we'll speak to you again next week.